Hi, I am Ankita. Today I will explain my persistence code. The code is in the namespace robot controller API.controllers. It imports Microsoft ASP.NET Core.MVC and robot controller API.persistence. Class declaration. Maps controller is declared as a public class that inherits from controller base. This means it is a controller class in ASP.NET Core used for handling HTTP requests. API controller. This attribute indicates that the class will be used as a controller and will follow certain conventions for request handling. And this specifies the base route for the controller. All endpoint routes in the controller will be relative to the base route. HTTP get endpoints. Get all maps. This is an method that retrieves all maps. Get square maps. This method is an endpoint that retrieves map where the number of rows equal the number of columns. Get map by ID. This method is an HTTP get endpoint that retrieves a map by its ID. It returns an IAction result, which is either an OK response with the map if found or a not found response if not found. Add map. This method is an HTTP post endpoint for adding a new map. It takes a map object as input, adds to a database using map data access.addMap. Update map. This method is an HTTP put endpoint for updating an existing map. It takes the map ID and an updated map object as input. Updates the map in the database using map data access.updateMap. Delete map. For deleting a map by its ID. Check coordinate. This method is an additional HTTP GET endpoint for checking if a coordinate is within a map. It takes the map ID, X coordinate and Y coordinate as input, checks if the coordinate is within the map using map data access.checkCoordinate and returns an appreciate response. Now we will return on robot commands controller.cs. This code is within the robot controller API controller namespace. It imports Microsoft ASP.MVC. Class declaration is declared as a public class that inherits from controller base. This indicates that it's a controller class and this is used for handling HTTP request. Route and attribute decoration. API controller indicates that the class will be used as an API controller and will follow certain conventions for request handling. HTTP get endpoints. Get all robot commands. This method that retrieves all robot commands. It returns an IEnumerable robot command obtained from the robot command data access.getRobotCommand method. Get move commands only. That retrieves only move command where is move command is true. Get command by ID. That retrieves a robot command by its ID. It returns an IAction result, which is either an OK response with the command if found or a not found response if not found. Add robot command for adding a new robot command. Update command for updating an existing robot command. It takes the command ID and an updated command object as input. Delete robot command. This method is an HTTP delete endpoint for deleting a robot command by its ID. It deletes the command from the database. Now we will see map data access.cs. This is declared as a public static class indicating that it contains only static members and can't be instantiated. The class contains a private constant which holds the connection string for connection to the PostgreSQL database. It's typically stored in a configuration file for better management. You can see here localhost Postgres. This is my password and this is the database, that is SIT331. Get maps retrieve all maps from the database and returns a list of map objects. Get square map. where is square is true, that indicating the rows of columns and are equal. Returning a list of map objects. Get map by ID. This is a map by its ID from the database and returns a map object. Get map by name from the database and returns a map object. Add map for adding a map to the database. Update map for an existing map in the database and returns a boolean indicating success or failure. Delete map. This is a map from the database by its ID. Check coordinate. Check if the given coordinate x or y is within the boundaries of a map specified by its ID. Database connection and commands. These are managed using NPG SQL connection. SQL commands are executed using this with parameters to prevent SQL injection. Now we will see robot command data access. This is declared as a public static class named robot command data access, indicating that the only static members and can't be instantiated. Here are database operations. Get robot command that retrieves all robot commands from the database and returns a list of robot command objects. Get move commands only retrieve only move command from the database. Get command by ID. It means that retrieves a robot command by its ID from the database and returns a robot command object. Get command by name. It means that retrieves by its name from the database and return a robot command object. Add robot command for adds a new robot command to the database. Update robot command to update an existing robot command. Delete robot command from the database by its ID. Now we will see map.cs. If we look at program.cs, the program imports system for basic console input or output. Main method serves as the entry point of the program. Connection string. It defines a connection string containing the necessary details to connect to the PostgreSQL database. Username and its password and database was named that SIT331. It executes SQL commands to create tables if they don't already exist in the database. For the robot command table, it defines columns for ID. Name description is move command created data and modified date. For the map table, it defines column for ID map name, rows, columns and computed column is square based on the whether the number of rows and columns are equal. And this is the robot command.cs. This class represented robot command entity likely to be stored in a database or used within the application. ID. This is an integer property representing the unique identifier for the command. Name, a string property representing the name. And likewise, there is move command. Date time, that is created data. Modify date is a type of date time, and this is a description. The class has a constructor that initializes its properties. It takes parameters for this. Inside the constructor, the properties are initialized with the provided parameter values. And this is the map.cs, that is same as that of robot command.cs. This is a namespace named robot controller API, and this is the class of map, which includes the properties. ID is the type of integer, columns is the type of integer, and same as rows is the type of integer. Name is a type of string. Description, created date, modified date. And this is the constructor. This is the initial points. Now we will see result. Here we can enter size 8. And this is the result with size 8. Is square true with the OK response. We can put size 5 also. And this is the another command with left right place move. Now we will move on SQL file of the PostgreSQL. This is the file. Create extension, if not exist admin pack. Alter table, create table, alter sequence. And this is the public map in which include rows, name, description, created date, modified date. Now we can see this is the database SIT331 and this is all information. Here we can put this command select star from map. You can see here in the messages map 1 and map 2 create in this table. With rows and column. Another command is robot command and you can see here is the result. Thank you for watching this video.